this tarot card and rune draw, the first thing we see is the Five of Bows, the empowerment card. There is something with this card that should be blatantly obvious, stands right out as soon as you see it. And this is the CERN, they call it the CERN Giant from Dorset, England, on the side of a hill. And it dates to sometime after 700 of the Common Era, pagan. What should stand out immediately is that this CERN, and I don't even want to use the word giant, because once you see it, it becomes obvious. It's the CERN warrior. It is the depiction of the constellation we know in modernity that has been labeled as Orion. It is Thor, the warrior. Notice in its backhand, upraised, is the club. Notice in its forehand on this card is the bow. The feet are spread, and on the hillside in Dorset, the warrior that is depicted there does not have anything in that forehand. It's empty. So this CERN warrior, now if we think about Thor and that warrior spirit, it is Thor who every autumn, from about Samhain, harvest time, Samhain, all the way up through the time of rebirth in Ostara. It is Thor who has made the eternal oath to Mother Goddess Freya to bring in rebirth, to guide in our ancestral bear during that 9 nights hell ride through Odin's time, the rebirth of the spirit of Odin into the time of fertility. And therein plays the phallus that we see carved on that hillside. But do we see that in the constellation of Thor? Well, it depends on how you look at it. Remember, a lot of these depictions were made by the religious cults of Abraham. So in the constellation of Thor, modern Orion, it is translated that hanging from his belt is a scabbard for a sword which he does not possess. So that belt area, depending on your perspective, could be the phallus, which represents fertility. And that is what Thor's function is to ensure he battles the chaos of the giantess maidens and brings the rebirth of the spirit of Odin back. Now, this is a card of empowerment. The warrior spirit empowers you. The bows of this card, there's 5 bows. 4 are laid on the ground as gifts, and he holds the 5th bow, which was a gift, because the CERN warrior on the hillside doesn't hold the bow. You can look that up on the internet yourself and see the depictions. As well, couples from that area have procreated on the phallus or the testes. People have had fertility rituals done. I hate to use that word, but they have had fertility rites done on the testes of the CERN warrior for childbirth, fertility. It is said that people from that area experience twice the birth rate as from other areas. Whether or not you want to believe that is entirely up to you. But that's what's said. This is the CERN warrior. This is the constellation we know as Thor, also known as Orion. Thor holding the hammer, a shield in front, or a gifted bow that warrior spirit empowers. Our first rune that we drew, Hagalaz. Hagalaz. In Old Norse, it's Hagel, and it means hail. Hail is destructive in its nature. It destroys everything, whether that is something good or something bad. So Hagalaz is in the position of Earth. This is not past, present, future. When we study the runes in a 3-rune draw, they're not past, present, future, as in fate is already set and predetermined. Earth means young, youthful. Maybe you have an idea that you're going to put into motion, and something needs to be destroyed first. Maybe a certain mindset that you have. Maybe you're thinking of going on a business venture, but you've been told that you can't do it, and you need to destroy that mindset. It could be anything. In order to proceed, we have to destroy the giantess maidens that are keeping our progress, our goals from being reached. We have to destroy those giantess maidens of chaos and negativity, like Thor, like Hagel, like hail. So you see, sometimes hail, even though it's destructive, has positive effects, because you can destroy bad mindsets, bad habits. Healthy living depends on destroying bad habits as much as it does incorporating good habits. So in the position of youth, Earth is Hagel. The next rune that we drew is in the position of Verthandi, which means worth. This is where you prove yourself. This is where all of the work is done. And for that we drew the merkstave of Laguz. Laguz means water, lagoon, a heavenly sea, calm water, a safe harbor. When you think of a lagoon, you think of some place to escape the storm. Family, folk, and frith. Everything is just right. As a matter of fact, that's what the Swedish word lagom means. Everything is just right. But Laguz is in the merkstave. This signifies work, effort put forth to accomplish whatever goal that hero is setting out to accomplish. That is up to you. You have in your mind certain things that you want to accomplish, and you do that by invoking certain spirits, the warrior spirit. You destroy bad thoughts with Hagel, and then you work. And just like Thor leads in our bear, effort across the heavenly sea for 9 lunar cycles to the time of birth, rebirth, of whatever plan you set into motion. Just like when we go through phases of our life and we enter into a den and we shed pre-existing things that we held on to, and then we come out wiser, better. And then we have to work in that phase and prove our worth in that phase before we go back into that den again, re-emerging on the next cycle, the next phase. Maybe you have seen the Abrahamic cults for what they are. And your fear is the destruction in your mind of them. Maybe you fear finally getting rid of them, pronouncing them as false, and latching on to your family folk and frith in their ancient northern pagan ways. It takes a warrior spirit. It takes Hagalaz to destroy that programming that's been put into your mind. And then it takes work to ensure that you don't replace it with something just as silly. These are just for instances I'm giving. That bear, which Thor leads in, placed at the foot of the yew tree. And then every Yule, our ancestors would decorate that Yule tree. And then they would have the bear. They would instruct the bear to wind upon the mast, to climb that yew tree, and tell our ancestors, tell our gods and goddesses that all is right here. The festival of Yule has begun. Work. And sometimes that work includes making sure what you have destroyed stays destroyed, that you don't let it creep back in. That is the worth phase. In the final phase, the should phase, skuld. This is what should happen based on the actions you took in the first two phases. Something was youthful, and then you proved its worth. And now this is the fruits of your labor. That is what skuld means, what should happen. Skuld should happen. It is urlog. It is primal law. The outcome will be exactly what you put into it during the Verthandi phase. If you don't put anything into it, you won't get anything out of it. In the skuld phase, the should phase, we see Gebo, a gift for a gift, and we laid a gift at the feet of the warrior spirit, the Cern warrior, Thor. That gift back to us, because our ancestors believed in a gift for gift principle. We celebrate that all the time, from Samhain through Yule. Gift for gift. That is why that's ingrained in our psyche, in our mindset, in our blood memory. We give a gift for a gift. What will that gift be back from the warrior spirit? It may be peace of mind in what you worked for, knowing that you're correct. You don't go into it demanding, I want this for an outcome. You go into it saying, here's the gift. I'm going to work my ass off during the worth phase, the Verthandi phase. What gift will you get in return from that warrior spirit? That is up to the gods and goddesses to decide. In the real and physical realm, the gift to you will be that you reap the benefits of what you sowed during Firthandi. So that is the rune draw, combined with the 5 of Bows empowerment card of the CERN warrior. Maybe this applied to you. Hopefully. It aids you in your walk. Remember, we have our books available for direct purchase through us, and they're also available on Amazon and printed version or ebook if you want to remain anonymous. So until next time, or tills nästa gång, good health.
Mm-hmm.